What is up, guys? Dave back with another trucking vlog, sort of. It's gonna be like a Q&A video. This is my 600th video. 600! I have done 600 YouTube videos, actually way more than that. Some have been taken down before, some have been deleted for copyright, some were taken down because my ex asked me to. It's actually quite a few of those, probably about 10 at least. So yeah, I've actually done way more than 600, but if you type in "Write In with Dave" in the search bar, it will bring up 600 videos as of when this one was uploaded. So that was my plan. I wanted to do a Q&A with you guys. Now, we're gonna sit here and watch guys back because I'm sitting in Guthrie, Oklahoma right now. You guys probably know this one. Pretty big Love's truck stop here. Really easy backing, mostly straight backs. It's a nice little spot. I like this Love's too. Still not better than my favorite in Chanute, Kansas. That's my favorite one, man. Chanute, Kansas. Anyways, so yeah, we're gonna sit here and watch guys back and look around and hang out. I got this window closed because there's guys over there and I don't need them staring at me while I'm talking to myself. So, I mean, normally I don't care, but if I'm gonna be sitting here for a while, we're gonna do that because this is gonna take a while. Now, let me just tell y'all, as of like 5 minutes ago when I looked at my community post where I asked for you guys to ask me questions, there is 333. I am not going to be able to do 333. I have to leave in less than an hour to go make a delivery at Sam's Club in Kansas City, Kansas. So I'm waiting because I cannot deliver it early. I asked my fleet manager, I said, Tim, can I deliver this early? Tim said, 1 second, let me check, thanks. Tim always says thanks after everything. I'm talking about, it don't matter what the message is, there's a thanks at the end of it, all the time. And then 1 second, let me check, thanks. I'm like, okay. So then Tim comes back and he's like, no, it has to be delivered on the time and date that an appointment is. Oh, crap. Because usually for the Sam's Club and Walmart, it's usually strict appointment times. You guys might know that, but this is a drop and hook, so it says at least. So I figured maybe I can go drop it early since I'm just dropping it. It's not an appointment time, but Tim said no. So we got to listen to Tim. He makes the rules here. Anyways, so, okay, let's get into this so then I can answer as many questions as possible. Now, what I decided to do, okay, was I decided to just go from the top, sort it by the top comments. So you guys that had the comments that most people liked, that's the one I'm going to read first. You know, because obviously other people wanted to know that question too. That's why they liked it. Or if it's funny or whatever. So I'm not going to be able to do 333, guys. I'm sorry. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to do 100. Seriously. But I'm sitting Indian style right now because that means I mean business. Alright, so TZ says, is what you're currently earning at CFI enough to meet your daily needs? Well, I mean, yeah. Plenty more to meet my... I don't have a whole lot of daily needs. I have to shower, I have to poop, and I have to eat. Other than those three things, that's about all I need. But no, I've told you guys before in videos that, you know, I have a very high income to debt ratio. I pretty much have no debt except for maybe like my cell phone bill and what else do I have? Car insurance. Yeah, besides that, I'm kind of debt-free. I am like, I make way more than enough than what I need, especially from YouTube as well. So if you put in YouTube and my trucking combined, I'm just stacking the Benjamins right now, boys. That's all I'm doing. I'm stacking the Benjamins. But yes, it's plenty. This is the biggest one, and I'm sure there's probably like at least 30 of you guys that asked the same question in one form or another. This guy has 47 likes on this one. Based on your experience trucking so far, do you have any future plans of owning and operating your own truck? That's from Bacon Bits. I don't know, man. I really don't. I cannot give you an answer on that right now. Look at that. Can we just take a moment to look at that? That was, I mean, how can you not even like, how can you continue with this Q&A here when you see that drive by? That thing was beautiful. Anyways, oh yeah, I want that right there. I want to own and operate that. I don't know. I don't know, honestly. I really don't know. You know, maybe I just stick with the company thing. That way, you know, it's less overhead, less stress. Of course, it's going to be less money, but I don't know. There's parts of me that would like to just stay company and not have the worries of essentially running your own business. But there is part of me that thinks that, you know what, if I did it the right way, like for instance, a huge down payment on a truck, or I'm talking like half of a down payment plus a lot of capital in the bank. That's the thing, is I want to do it the right way. You know, I'm sure there's guys out there that might have 5 or 10 grand in the bank and they go finance a truck and everything else, and it's like, you know, you're kind of starting with yourself in a big hole there. You know, I would figure if you're going to do that and go finance a truck and get, you know, essentially your business started as an owner operator, I'd at least want 100K in the bank, I would say. But even then, I just don't know if I would do it. I really don't. So that's probably a huge question that gets asked to me. I don't know. And it's the honest answer. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I will or not. I may decide against it. I may decide to do it. But as of right now, it's undetermined. So that was probably the biggest question, but we don't know. When did you know you wanted to be a trucker, and how old are you? I've talked about it in videos before. I'm 34. And when did I know I wanted to be a trucker? I think I had an interest in it when I was like in my mid-20s, and I started really looking into it around then, probably 25, 26 or so. Never really did it, and then in 2016, I applied for several. Prime was one of them, I remember, in 2016, and I was gonna do it. Then at the last minute, I backed out and decided not to. And then it wasn't until 2020 that I decided, you know what, to hell with everything, I'm gonna do this. And I did it. This one has 18 likes on it. Did you ever sleep with my mom when you were smuggling coffee grounds over the border? Yes, I met this little cute señorita way down across the border when I was running coffee grounds. And, you know, we had a little one-night stand in the hotel, motel, Holiday Inn. So yes, answer to your question. You might be my child. Do you like being an over-the-road driver, or would you prefer home daily? That's hard to say, because it would be nice to be home daily, obviously. But on the same hand, I really like the over-the-road trucking lifestyle. I just do, you know, you get obviously longer runs, not a whole lot of inner city stuff, and you get to see different parts, wake up in a different place every day. It's a kind of give and take. Part of me would like to be home each night, but then at the same time, even if you are home each night, these guys that usually do local still run like, you know what I mean? Like full 11 to 14 hour days, and then don't really have much time for anything until they have to go to sleep, go home, eat, sleep, and get up and do it again. You know what I mean? So I guess, I don't know. I do like the over-the-road lifestyle though. I really do. So I think if you asked me, I would prefer to be an over-the-road driver as of right now. I don't think I would switch to being local anytime soon. So I would pick that. Do you miss your motorcycle or get tired of being on the road for weeks at a time? I mean, yeah, I miss riding sometimes. I wouldn't mind hopping on a bike and going and riding again, but it doesn't really bother me that much. I did so much riding like the past 6-7 years that I had a YouTube channel, and a lot of you guys may not know, but it was a time when I only owned a motorcycle for like 3 straight years, and everywhere I went it was on my motorcycle. It kind of burned me out a little bit, and that was a big reason why I started not enjoying riding as much, because I just rode too much. The enjoyment factor was taken out of it, you know what I mean? Now if I went and jumped on one today, I'd probably be super excited again, because it's been forever since I've ridden one. But yeah, so I would say I do miss it. Not that bad, but I miss it and would like to ride again. And do you get tired of being on the road for weeks at a time? Yeah, and that's when you take your home time. Because, you know, once, like I said, I get to about that 4th week, I'm like, okay, I need to go home. I'm getting tired of being out here. I want to go home, decompress a little bit. So yeah, it does get tiring being on the road for weeks at a time. Some people handle it better than others. Some guys stay out for months and months and months, and you know, they do just fine. I've learned that a month is about my cutoff. Does trucking stress you out? To elaborate, would you choose college stress over trucking stress? I never went to college, so I don't know what type of college stress that you're referring to. As far as the trucking stress you out, yeah, I mean, anybody I'm sure that's out here driving get stressed out. It can be a stressful job, but the thing is it has its up and downs. You know, it's not always stressful, but then on the other hand, it's not always not stressful. So it's a roller coaster ride. It really is. You can have a day, 2, 3 week that just is freaking lovely, and then you can have a day, 2, 3 or week that is just terrible, and everything goes wrong, nothing's going right, and it's just it can get to you. So it's a roller coaster type deal. What's the weirdest or craziest thing you've hauled so far in your career? I don't really know that I've hauled anything that was really crazy. I know the big paper rolls are kind of iffy to haul, and then pallets too are kind of iffy. But as far as craziest things, I don't really think I've... That big machine that we picked up, that big old demo machine, that was a pretty crazy machine that they use for slicing frozen chickens and stuff or whatever. That was pretty cool. That was different, and it took 2 of us CFI trucks to haul it. One time I hauled a whole friggin' truckload full of tequila. I hauled a bunch of tequila one day. That was pretty cool. Other than that, yeah, I don't know. I don't think I've really hauled anything that was too crazy or weird. Okay, this is a question that gets asked a lot too, and I've covered it in my videos before, but I'll cover it again because this is a Q&A. Have you ever had an encounter with lot lizards? No, never have an encounter with lot lizards. I've honestly have never seen a working girl just walking through the parking lot of a truck stop. Just have never seen it. I think that was something that was way more prevalent back in the day. Obviously, I'm sure they still exist. However, it's not as prevalent as it used to be. And I think it's just technology now. I think a lot of these women who are still doing this are online advertising their services. They don't have to exactly go prowling through a truck stop anymore to, you know, go find truckers to give them their money. They can kind of just advertise their services online and find people that way and do essentially the same thing. You know what I mean? So I don't know. It's not prevalent. Every driver will tell you that. It's not as prevalent as it used to be. But everybody keeps telling me, Dave, film the lot lizards. Dave, you know, show a lot lizard in your video. Why don't you show a lot lizard? I don't see them. You don't see them. And most of the time, I'm leaving the truck stop in the middle of the night anyways. At midnight, 1, 2 a.m., they ain't there. They're not walking around. I don't see them. I really don't. I may have seen one time. I can't remember. I was walking up from the fuel island, and she was walking in front of me, and she didn't look like a trucker. But maybe she was. And she was walking up there and walked into the Loves, and I was kind of a little bit ways back behind her walking in after getting my fuel and stuff. But either she came from her own truck. I mean, there's a lot of women drivers. I'm not saying she's a lot lizard because she was a woman, but she looked a little questionable, okay? Let's just leave it at that. She looked a little questionable. But yeah, other than that, nobody's ever knocked on my door. No girls ever come up to my truck. I've never seen one. So if you're wanting to be a truck driver to get laid by lot lizards, you might want to pick a different profession, because it's not going to be every truck stop you're at, you're going to have girls banging on your door ready to, you know, slob on your knob like corn on the cob. Okay, let's just put it that way. Anyway, so, Lord. This is another one that's asked a lot. What would your dream truck be? And do you like the rig that you got now? My dream truck would be a Kenworth T680, just like this, except brand new and mine. That way I don't gotta worry about, you know, anybody else but my own thing. I can customize it how I want. I can make it a chicken truck if I want to. But I don't know. I would like a long nose Pete though. Okay, that's like everybody though. But you know, I would definitely like that. I was watching this guy back because he's a bit off angle there. He needs it. Yeah, he's got it. He's good now. I just watched him for a second. See, I told you we're gonna sit here and watch people back. This is an interesting Q&A right here. Oh, he's going to that other parking spot. He's going to the one over. That's why it looked so weird to me when I was watching him. He wasn't going to the one with I thought he was going to the one next to that other truck. But yeah, like, I wouldn't mind, obviously, like a long nose Pete or something, just a badass looking truck to customize. That's the kind of truck you want to, you know, throw all the freaking lights on and make it a chicken truck, not something like this, like the T680, you know what I mean? But I don't know. There's so many options. I like them all, man. I really do. I like all the trucks. I don't really have a favorite. It's like I like everything. I respect them all. What is your favorite food, both when you're on the road and at home? 100% the like genre, I guess you could call it, of food for me would be seafood. And if I had to pick like one seafood out of all the seafood that I like, I mean, I'm from the coast, right? So seafood is big where I'm from, on the Gulf Coast of Mississippi. And, you know, we're big on boiled crawfish, but I wouldn't say crawfish is my favorite, even though it's probably number 2. But my favorite would be Dungeness crab legs. We have casinos down where I live, tons, on the Mississippi Gulf Coast. And for 30 bucks, you can get all you can eat Dungeness crab legs. And trust me when I tell you, it's worth it. It is worth it. They're like, if you don't never heard of them, they're like snow crabs, but they're thicker, there's more meat, and it has just a better taste in my opinion. Some people like snow crabs better, but I love those Dungeness, man. And that is definitely probably my favorite food. And then probably crawfish is a close second behind that. Then after that, probably like sushi and stuff. I'd start getting into the fish and everything with sushi. But number 1 would be probably crab, Dungeness crab. Really love it. With you being on the road for so long daily, I can only imagine you've seen or encountered some nasty things. What's been the worst so far? Nasty things. I guess nothing really tops coming up on a shit bag just sitting there in the middle of the parking lot, or like, you know, you back into your spot and then you go to get out and oh, there's a shit bag sitting right there next to your driver's side door that some guy just decided to throw out there before he left, you know? I've talked about that in previous videos too, how nasty some guys are with just doing stuff like that. I mean, okay, if you had to go that bad or whatever the case may be and you went in a bag, okay, no, more power to you, but just throw it in the garbage can. Don't throw it in the lot for some other guy to back up and have to smell your crap sitting there on the ground, you know what I mean? It's just stupid. So I don't know, other than that, I ain't really seen nothing too nasty, not that I can think of off the top of my head. Yeah, poop bags, man. What made you get into trucking? Nothing really. I just thought it was a lifestyle and a job that I would enjoy doing. I thought it was it would be for me. And then I always backed out. Each time I wanted to do it before, I always backed out. I never pulled the trigger, even though I thought that I would enjoy it. And now that I've been doing it for long enough, I do know that I enjoy it. But it just took me so long to eventually pull the trigger and do it, because it was a job that kind of, I guess, intimidated me when I was younger, you know? I mean, now, you know, I kind of always knew I could probably do it, but I was like, I don't really want to go through all this stuff to do it, and I don't know, maybe it's not for me. I don't know, those big trucks are probably pretty hard to back. You know, just all that type of stuff, just kind of, I don't know, just a bit intimidated by it, and I never did it. But, yeah, glad I did now. Better late than never, right? But other than that, I would say just, you know, a better career path, something that I would enjoy doing more than what I was doing before. I've talked about it in videos before, so I'll just briefly go over it here. Is that, you know, I was doing office work and hated it for my whole freaking life. Literally my whole life I was working in law firms and courthouses and all that BS, doing office work and paperwork and BS, and I hated it. I just didn't ever think that, hey, why don't you go do something else, dumbass? You know what I mean? And it wasn't until, you know, I finally decided to pull the trigger on trucking and got sick of doing that crap and wanted to do something else, and I haven't been happier. You know what I mean? Like, I am super, super happy that I made this decision, because I tell people this all the time. I say a 14-hour day in trucking goes by a hell of a lot quicker than 8 hours at the office. I can promise you that. So, yeah, more than happy. So, yeah, just something I enjoyed more. That's the answer to your question right there. Just to do something that I actually enjoyed, because there's nothing like enjoying what you do every day for work. If you're unhappy doing what you're doing for work every day, go do something else, man. If you're sitting there watching this video right now, listening to me talk about this, and you're like, man, you know, I'm working at this little office, you know, I'm making 10, 12, 15 bucks an hour or whatever, you know, I kind of want to do something else. I hate it every day. Or maybe you're making pretty good money. Maybe you're making, you know, decent money at that office job, but you're not happy going to work every day. My motto is, like, I hate that I waited so long, but if there's one thing I could change, is I would have done this sooner. Because even if you're making enough money, considering we work most of our lives, literally, like, most of our lives is spent working, you don't want to be unhappy doing that every single day. You know what I mean? So if you're sitting there watching this video right now thinking, man, I understand where he's coming from, because I'm unhappy in my job. I feel the same way Dave did when he was working at those offices and places. Then make a change, man. Do it. Not saying do trucking if you don't think that's for you, but do something else, you know? look for something else. Try to get somewhere that you enjoy. Try to do something you enjoy, no matter what it is. So yeah, that's my thing, is I wish I would have done this sooner and not just settled, basically. If you ever want to start training, sign me up. I will never train. Just letting you guys know. There's been a few guys that said that, Dave, will you train me? Dave, I want you to train. Oh, no, won't do it. I won't do it. I will not do it. 100%. I'm not sharing this truck with anybody. It's not happening. I'm not gonna, no. Nope. Hell, I don't even want to go get a pet. You know, I talked about getting a pet before, but I decided against it. I can barely take care of myself, man. I don't need nobody else up in here to take care of. But no, I'm not that type of person. I hate it. That was one of the biggest turnoffs for me with becoming a truck driver too, was the training portion. I really did not like the whole fact of having to be cooped up in a truck with somebody else for that long. I'm a pretty independent person. I always have been. I've always been very independent. Like, I take care of myself. I don't need nobody else. You'd probably be surprised, but I prefer to be by myself more than I like to be around people. I'm very social, and I'll go hang out with people and talk and be social. It's all good. But after about an hour, 2 hours max, I want to go off and be by myself. It's just how I've always been. I'm more introverted than I am extroverted, which you might not believe, but it's true. And so, no, I don't want to be around a trainee. I don't want to be around a team member. I don't know how these guys do this job teaming, man. I couldn't do it. To hell with team. No. That just ruins a whole fun out of trucking, if you ask me. It's for the money. You make more money doing that. But anyways, enough of that. I'm going way on about mess. I'm trying to answer as many questions as I can here, but I keep going into way too deep of detail. Is it cock or kosh? Cock. I think it's cock. I'm pretty sure it's cock. Maybe we should ask them. I don't know. You guys tell me in the comments. Would you like to start your own trucking company someday? Nope. Sure won't. I might own my own truck if I decided on that. But would I start my own company? No, I wouldn't do that. Has there ever been a situation where you were driving and felt like you made the wrong decision choosing to be a truck driver? That's an interesting question right there. I mean, there's been times that I've been driving that I kind of miss having the day-to-day at home, or like I'll be, let's say one day I was in North Mississippi and I drove by a golf course with like a family out there on a Saturday morning playing golf. And I kind of just looked at them and I got a bit envious for a second, you know what I mean? I was a bit envious that they were out there able to enjoy their weekend, play some golf. Sure, they probably worked Monday through Friday and busted their asses and earned it, but at the same time I was envious because I was like, I don't get to enjoy like a weekend every week anymore, you know, like these people do. As far as regretting my decision to be a truck driver, no, I don't regret my decision at all. It's the best decision. I'm struggling to say decision for some reason over and over. It's best decision. God bless it. It was the best decision that I have made in a long time, if not one of the best, and I don't regret it at all. It was definitely the change in my life that I needed. It seems like ever since I started truck driving, everything just has been getting better. You know what I mean? I was in a very unhappy relationship for about the past 2 years. That ended shortly after I started trucking. I am so much happier now to be away from the office jobs that I was in. I am so much happier now with, you know, the money that I make. I'm so much happier with how my YouTube is going. It's like everything has gone up for me since I started doing trucking. Everything has moved in the correct direction, and I couldn't be more thankful for that. So honestly, to answer that question, there really is no time that I felt like that was the wrong decision, because it has been literally the best decision. God dang it, it's been the best decision that I have made. And yeah, so I have no regrets on that. But the one thing is, I do get a little bit envious that, you know, you don't kind of get a weekend every week or the kind of home time each night that you would like a person with a normal job. But there's like with everything, there's pros and cons, you know. Would you ever consider getting a dog or a companion to take with you on the road. I have been considering it. I still think about it sometimes. One day I might, but I don't know. It's a lot to deal with, a lot to take care of, and I already got to take care of my own self, so I don't know. Maybe. We will see, but as of right now, I've decided not to. Would you recommend trucking? Would you recommend CFI as an employer? Yeah, like everything I just said, I would 100% recommend trucking. If you think you would like it, at least give it a try. It's not for everybody, and you may find out it's not for you, but you got to give it a definite good try, because I thought my first couple weeks out on the road that it wasn't for me, and I almost quit, and I'm glad I kept going and stuck through that initial process, and yeah. It got much better. Have you ever looked at European trucks and thought you'd like to drive one, especially the way the Dutch to them up? Maybe you meant do them up. Yeah, I mean, I've been to the Netherlands, so I've seen the Dutch trucks over there, and yeah, I mean, when I was there, I was always checking them out. I was always looking at them. I always had an interest in them, and you know, obviously, you know, you guys have all like cab overs there, so it was just cool to see those types of trucks and everything that when you're used to seeing American trucks, you know. Same thing if you guys probably come over here, you'd be like, oh man, look, you know, American trucks. Same thing how I was like, oh, European trucks, cool. So yeah, I've looked at them and I thought I wonder what it would be like to drive them. Some of you guys have actually sent me messages like inside of your trucks. They look really nice inside. Like some of them are really futuristic. Like one of you sent me a freaking Snapchat message and you didn't even have mirrors on your truck. You had screens here with a camera mounted out that was your mirrors. Like your mirrors was your camera. The only thing that really scares me about that is what if it happened to go out? You know what I mean? Like my mirror is always gonna be there, but what if your screens happen to go out? You have no freaking mirrors. Like you gotta have to pull over and like fix that stuff. That'd be kind of freaky to me. But yeah, that was really cool. So yeah, I like the European trucks. Do you have to pay for parking generally, or is it just when you reserve a spot? It depends. If you park in a reserve spot, if you park in a reserve spot, if you're I'm talking too much, and that's why my words are getting gibberish. Let me have some water. Generally, you don't have to pay for parking unless you park in a reserved spot. So, as I've said it before in videos, you have like Pilot, Flying J, and Petros and stuff have certain spots that are all reserved spots. And then they have the spots that are non-reserve and anybody can park. Loves doesn't do any reserved parking except for maybe a few for like their shop and stuff, which is understandable, but pretty much Loves doesn't charge anything. So that's number one reason I like to go to Loves. Well, there's many reasons I like to go to Loves, but anyways, no, I mean, if you park in a reserved spot, you got to pay for it. But if you don't park in a reserved spot, you don't have to pay for it. So no, generally you don't pay for parking unless you want a reserved spot, in which case you would really only get if the rest of the truck stop was full, or if you reserved ahead of time, because you can reserve ahead of time on their apps for a reserved spot. So if you know, hey, it's getting a little bit late, it's 5 o'clock, I'm probably not going to be delivered and out of there until 10, I'm going to go ahead and go on my app and reserve a spot. That way you know when you get to that truck stop, you reserved a spot, it was available, it's yours. And if somebody's in there, you go in there and tell them, say, hey, I reserved this spot. They're going to go check and they're going to kick the guy who wasn't supposed to be in the reserve spot out, and, you know, yeah, kind of how it works. So I hate the reserve spots, though. I'm not a fan of that. I think it's just another way to hustle money out of truckers, you know, with everything else. I love that Loves doesn't charge. That is definitely my favorite thing about Loves, that they stay true to that. But who knows? 6 months from now, Loves could decide, you know what, everybody else is doing it. Why aren't we doing it? Let's up our profits a little bit more and have them pay for parking, you know? Who knows? What's been the most difficult situation you've encountered while driving? I can tell you exactly what that was. I wasn't filming, but I remember it was a very rainy night. And it was, I can't remember. It was up around the Nashville, Tennessee area. And my smart self decided that I didn't want to go through Nashville in the evening time, because it was still kind of early in the evening time, but it was night and it was raining. I decided, is there an alternate route I could take? I kind of want to stay on a back highway. And I looked up a different route, kind of going toward my destination, but kind of bypassing Nashville. Little did I know it was a tight, mountainous, crazy road at night in the pouring down rain, and I was stressed out for about 30 miles down this freaking road that this was many months ago. My dumb self went through all that, dude. I was stressing out so bad. It was so freaking stressful, man, because like I was just kind of terrified that I was gonna slip off of this freaking mountain road or something, because you couldn't barely see. And like there's other cars on this road. It's still kind of early, so it wasn't just me. There was people behind me. I'm just like, oh my God, I done messed up. Why did I do this? Why did you do this, Dave? You're an idiot. And yeah, never again will I try to do that. I should have just went my happy ass through Nashville when I had the chance. So, all right, guys. So I am going to continue this somewhere else because I need to go to my pickup now. I have to leave in about 10 minutes, so I'm about to leave, and I will pick this up, I don't know, maybe whenever I stop or something. I want to answer some more, though. I definitely didn't answer enough. I'll probably answer maybe another 20 or 30 questions and then call it. But, yeah, we'll be back in a different setting right now. All right, boys, we are at a shipper right now, waiting for my trailer to get loaded. I had to bobtail back in. You guys will probably see this video after the Q&A, I guess. Because I did film it and everything. But yeah, we're just sitting here hanging out bobtail. We had to disconnect, but we're going to continue on with the questions now. Have you ever been to Bridgeport, Connecticut? That's my city. If so, what did you think about it? Nope, never been there, man. I haven't been to Connecticut, period, in my life. Never been to that state. Favorite part about being a trucker and favorite part of being a vlogging trucker? Being a vlogging trucker, man, I'll start with that. It's really cool because, you know, so many of y'all take an interest in like what I do every day, you know, in the videos that I make, and you enjoy them. And it's always cool if something happens to me, like the parade, you know, that could have happened to me by myself, and you know, I would have had nobody to tell it to. But since y'all are here with me on this journey, I get to show you, and that's the first thing I think when something like that happens. I'm like, I can't wait for them to see that I had to wait to back because of a freaking Mardi Gras parade. You know what I mean? So it's really cool. That's my favorite thing about being a trucking vlogger. Just, you know, showing you guys all the crazy stuff that happens and fun stuff and just the day-to-day job. So I enjoy that part. And favorite part about being a trucker, the freedom, I'd say. Just the freedom of being out in the world and, you know, not having a boss looking over your shoulder. And, you know, there's some things I dislike about it too, like I already touched on, but, you know, I'd say that's the best thing, is kind of the freedom of the job. This is from Crystal. What are your plans 10 years down the road? Hey, Dave, I don't really know. I take every day kind of day by day. I mean, I have some plans, you know. I kind of want to move up in the industry and stuff in the future and whatnot. And maybe I decide I want to be a little bit more home in 5 years. Or maybe I decide I'm going to stay OTR, but you know, join a company that pays really well. Or maybe I decide that I'm going to go owner-operator and own my own truck. Hiccups. I really don't know. I just ate. Sorry, guys. I really don't know. God, I should probably plan it out better, but I just kind of wing it. What are the most important accessories to take out with you when you are out for a long time? Food and water, I'd say, is like the most important, I would say. Because if you get stuck in like, you know, a winter storm or something, you're stranded on the side of the road, you don't have food or water, you're going to be in a bad spot, man. So always pack plenty of food and water. As you guys can see, I got a bunch of water down there that I keep. All my food's in the back in drawers back there and stuff. I got canned goods just in case, you know, non-perishables. Good jacket for winter. A good jacket. I bought that nice jacket that I have from Rural King, and I really like that jacket a lot. So I'd say a good jacket makes it easier. Maybe a beanie to keep your ears warm, because I don't have one right now. And I think next home time I'm going to get one. Although winter's going to be over pretty soon, but still. Who inspired you to get on trucking? To be a truck driver, nobody inspired me. It wasn't like I watched a YouTuber or something. It was like I want to be a truck driver now. I just, it was always something I thought that I would like to do. How often do you get a quality meal? One from a sit-down restaurant? Probably about once a week, I would say. I could get to a truck stop or somewhere where I could walk over and go get a good meal, you know what I mean? A couple days ago, I delivered to a Tractor Supply that had an IHOP right next door to it. And that was in Shawnee, Oklahoma, if any of you guys know where that's at. It was a Tractor Supply there, and like 2 doors down or whatever was an IHOP. And while I was getting unloaded, we can't stay in the truck anyways. I walked over and got me some pancakes and eggs and bacon and all that good stuff. Sometimes I'll be able to find Mexican restaurants across the street from a truck stop, or you know, a Chinese restaurant, or even like a nice sit-down restaurant where you can go in and sit down and have a really nice meal every now and then. But yeah, generally it's really hard to do often. I'd say maybe once a week I can get to one. I like this question. After being on YouTube for many years, did you ever think you would be at over 170,000 subscribers? So I think right now I'm at 178 or 79 as of when I'm filming this. And yeah, no, never thought I would do it. God, I still remember when like I had my first 10 subscribers, you know, like how exciting that was. Like, it was like, wow, actually 10 people are subscribed to me, you know, like they're going to be watching my videos and, you know, paying attention to what I'm doing. And hopefully there's some comments, and like every comment that comes, you're like all excited, you know. It's like, I miss those days though. I miss those days of being a little dicker YouTuber. But yeah, I honestly never thought I would be able to get to this point that I'm at now, and as fast as it's growing too. Like, I'm just gonna say I'm super thankful for you guys, man. A lot of people, I was actually on a trucking forum recently, a very elitist trucking forum. I'm not gonna say any names. And somebody had said that they were watching some trucking YouTubers and, you know, was getting an idea from the job with some trucking YouTubers and stuff. And they said, you know, it's kind of what made them want to be a truck driver. And they got some advice from these YouTubers on the comments section and stuff. And some guy comments on this forum and tells the guy, don't listen to what any YouTube truck drivers have to say. All they care about is likes. That's all YouTubers. All they care about is subscribes and likes and money. I'm not gonna lie, we do care about those things, but it's not all that we care about. It's really not. We do. We want views, obviously. We want likes, obviously. We want dislikes, obviously. Well, a lot of people don't know that. Dislikes actually help your channel. We want all of that stuff. We want interactivity. We want comments. We want all that. But also at the same time, not all of us are complete douchebags that don't care. Like, I'm telling y'all, whenever you guys comment on my videos and say, Dave, you inspire me to be a truck driver, or Dave, I passed my upgrade test today, or Dave, I got my CDL today, I smile literally every time I see it, because I know exactly how you feel, man. Like, I feel good for you. I really do. Like, I really feel good for you. And I'm like, you know what? Awesome. Because I know how big of a deal it was for you to take the plunge to be a truck driver, just like I did less than a year ago. You know what I mean? I know exactly how big that plunge was. And the fact that you want to come on to my videos and tell me and be like, hey, Dave, I did this. You know, you're excited to tell me about it. That's why I always, if I miss some, I'm sorry, but I always send like a awesome, good luck, or congratulations, things like that, dude, because it makes me feel good. So, you know, I'm glad that, you know, you were able to do it. You decided to make, hopefully, an improvement in your life going to trucking. And, yeah, it just makes me feel good. So that's totally incorrect. That is not all that we care about. Obviously, I mean, yeah, those things we do care about. I'm not going to, I told you I don't sugarcoat it. I'd be like, no, we don't care about it. No, every single YouTuber out there cares about his views. Every single one. Don't let nobody sugarcoat it and tell you that they don't. But it's not true for somebody to sit there and say, you know, that's all YouTubers care about, because it's not, man. I mean, not all YouTubers are assholes. Just like anything else, some are. Some ain't gonna give a damn about nobody else, but, you know, every time I see stuff like that, I care about it, man. It's the same reason why I also sit here and say, you know, I would never tell anybody to come to CFI if I didn't think they were a good company, because that would just be a douchebag move. So, yeah. But anyways, I went way off course with that question, but I wanted to make that clear that, you know, it's not true, man. And yeah, 170,000 subscribers, man, like, I remember when I hit 10K, how big of an accomplishment that was. 50K, 100K. I honestly never thought I would get the silver plaque. Like, I have the silver YouTube plaque, Riding with Dave. Congratulations on 100,000 subscribers that YouTube sends you. And, you know, I never thought I would get that. That was my biggest accomplishment. When I hit 100K, I was like, that's just freaking, I never thought I would be able to do that. You know what I mean? And, yeah, so that was very awesome. And now, you know, I'm getting up there closer to 200K. I don't think I will ever get to 1 million. I honestly don't think that would ever happen. I don't think I could get to 1 million subs. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, man. And maybe 5 years from now, I'm like, man, I never thought I would have 1 million subs. But, you know, It's pretty cool to think that 170,000 people like my videos enough to hit that, smash that subscribe button. So, pretty cool, dude. This question's so weird. When you decide which trailer is empty, how do you know where to go? Do you mean like, I don't know how I decide. I don't know what you mean, bro. Like, okay, so when you decide which trailer is empty, when would I decide if a trailer is empty? So I'm looking for an empty. So in order to decide which trailers are empty, I have to go back and look and make sure that it's empty. Look inside, right? Yeah, we look inside, we check and make sure it's empty. Yeah, okay, so that's how I decide which trailer is empty. Then how do I know where to go? CFI sends me a load on the computer, telling me where to go to pick up my next load with that empty trailer. I got you, bro. I got you. Do you ever plan on having kids or getting into a serious relationship? Well, I've been in serious relationships plenty of times in my life, but they never worked out for one reason or another, man. You know, I could put all the blame on the girls and be like, it was all them. It was all them. But it's probably 50-50. It was probably me too. But I don't know. I mean, when it happens, it happens. It's like, I think I was single for 2 years before I got with the last person I was with and engaged to and everything else. But before that, I was single for a couple years. And you know, then that relationship sprung up on me, and you know, I was in that for several years. But I mean, I'm not against, I don't know, at this point in my life, I'm not sure that I want kids. I'm not sure. I did when I was in my 20s. I'm 34 now. I don't really think, I don't know, if I did find the right woman and, you know, all that good stuff, and I decide, I don't know, guys, I don't know. Right now, considering, you know, it's only been like, how long has it been? Like 8 months, 7 or 8 months since I've been single now. I'm still staying single for a little while, guys. I ain't getting into nothing anytime soon. You ain't gonna see no girl riding shotgun with Dave anytime soon. I'm enjoying myself again. I really am. I'm so much happier right now, and it is not happening anytime soon. So, no. I'm very fidgety right now. I really am. I feel like I can't get comfortable for some reason. So, yeah. There's your answer. I'm skipping through a lot of these guys because a lot of it's the same, like, do you want to be an owner-operator? It's like pretty much the #1 question, which I answered right off the bat, so. Do you get to see your motorcycle friends when you go home? Actually, I probably don't really have any motorcycle friends. I mean, I do. Like, it's people that I still know, I'm friends with on Facebook, and, you know, but we're not really that cool anymore, if that makes any sense to you guys, you know what I mean? Because back when I used to ride with them all the time, we see each other all the time, we hang out, it was different. Now that I'm driving a truck, I don't have a motorcycle, I don't really see them when I go home, they don't really call me to hang out, I don't call them either, not their fault, I don't call them either to hang out. And it's just kind of like, you know, you kind of grow apart, I guess, after a while. Would you ever consider doing an oversized load? That would be pretty cool. I think somebody asked in here too. I'll go ahead and put these in together. Somebody asked somewhere in these questions, would you ever do flatbed? And no, I don't really have much of an interest in flatbed. I do understand that most oversized loads are flatbed. But that would be cool. That would be really cool. But I just don't know if I'm ever going to do flatbed or oversized load. And I know if you do oversized, you pretty much start doing flatbed, you know what I mean? I figure as much. I mean, common sense kind of tells you that. But I don't know. Maybe if I ever decide to go ahead and give flatbed a whirl. But I kind of like just bumping docks, man. I do. To be honest with you, it's easy, you know? And that's why people would call, like, oh, I bet you're just a dock bumper. You just go around bumping docks. You don't got to do no work. I mean, it's true. I like that, though. I like that I don't have to get out there and tarp some crap in a blizzard or a rainstorm and be out there tarping the whole freaking load and stuff. You just sit up in here, I go hook up the trailer and hop back into my little warm, comfy cab and go bump a dock, man. You know what I'm saying? How much money do you make? Okay, so this is a big one. This is also a big one that quite a few people have asked in here about what I make in trucking and what I make in YouTube. So I guess since this is a Q&A, I guess I will go ahead and tell you guys. Okay, so trucking, it varies, guys. If I have a bad week, it might be $600 or $700 for that week. If I have a good week, it might be $1,300, $1,400 for that week. Literally. And I noticed that if I usually have a bad week, CFI usually makes it up and they give me a good week. But it varies. It's never the same every single week. It just depends. You know, maybe it averages around like maybe $900 a week or something. Maybe is the average, I would say. you know, because like I said, some days it could be $1,200, $1,300, $1,400, $1,500. I've made checks like that plenty of times, quite often. But then also quite often I'll make a $600, $700, $800 check, you know? So it varies. It's not, you're not going to get the same exact check every single week. Depends on the freight, depends on where you are, depends on what you get. I don't know. Probably depends on how fast and hard you work and everything. So, you know, that's the best example that I can give you. I can't sit here and say, yeah, I make $40,000 a year. Or, I mean, I haven't even got my W-2 yet. And when I do, it's only going to be from like the end of April or beginning of June or whatever, May, something like that. It's not going to be the full year. So, you know, I can't even just look at my W-2 and be like, yeah, I made $40,000 this year. I don't really know. So that's that. YouTube. I'll just say YouTube, I make more than I make trucking with YouTube. I'll put I'll screenshot my my last 28 day stats, because I did show this on Snapchat, but I will put it up on here for the Q&A. That's my stats for the last 28 days. Let me actually look at it here so I know what it is. All right, so the last 28 days, let me screenshot it too so that I can put it in the video. All right, so the last 28 days, I have gained 19.5 million watch time, views 2.7 million views in the last 28 days, subscriber change 24.9K, so about 25K in the last 28 days, and your estimated revenue $8,629.64, and that's accurate too. Pretty much what they say you're gonna get is what you usually get within a few dollars. So yeah, that's in a 28-day period, so about 4 weeks. So about every 4 weeks, it fluctuates too, like anything else, depending on the views. But I will say it has only been going up the past 6 months. So, you know, next month, maybe it's at 9, I don't know, or maybe it's down to 8, I really don't know. But that is what I make from trucking and from YouTube. And yes, YouTube is more than trucking, believe it or not. Some of you guys may not believe that. I know a lot of people don't even know that we get paid. A lot of people don't even realize that YouTubers get paid. Like, they think we just do it for fun or whatever, but it's actually a job for us, you know? It's actually a career as well as trucking is. So, there you go. That's pretty much what I get paid. What are all the states that you have drove in or to? The only ones, like, that's not in the Northeast is Nevada and both Dakotas that I have not driven through or been to. I have not been to South Dakota or North Dakota, and I've not been to Nevada. The rest are all on the Northeast, like Connecticut, Delaware, Rhode Island, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Maine, and one other over there. I've been to Jersey. What's the other state? What's the other state? There's one more up there that I haven't been to. Vermont. Did I say Vermont or did I say New Hampshire? Yeah, Vermont, I think was it. So those 7 I have not been to. All the other states I have. What is the weirdest thing you see in a truck stop? This dude was like drunk off his ass, stumbling around trying to find his truck. I swear he just walked to a bar somewhere and had walked back, but or maybe he was drunk and went in to go pee or something or get some food, but he was stumbling around, dude. I was in the fuel island fueling and he comes walking in front of me. He's just stumbling, man. Like, he's just drunk. I mean, it's not really that weird, you know, you see drunk people here and there, but this dude was like hammered. He like started walking this way and he was woozy, and then he starts walking the other way, and I'm like, this guy, Jesus Christ, man, get your ass back. I don't know, maybe he was sleepwalking, maybe he wasn't drunk. But that was pretty interesting. I'm currently in school to get my CDL license. Got any tips for a rookie driver right out of school? Don't give up. That's the biggest tip. Don't give up. Keep pushing through. I swear it will get easier. Everybody told me the same thing. I didn't believe it. I was like, I don't think this is for me. I don't think I can do this, etc., etc. I kept pushing. I didn't give up, and I got through it. Just keep going, bro. Keep on chugging. That's the best thing I can give you. How does construction impact you over the road? Every day, multiple times a day, or just here and there? Multiple times a day. Now, as far as impact you, like, let's say making you detour or not be able to get to your destination, here and there. You know, it doesn't happen that often. Usually you just go right through it on your route. So it'd be every day, multiple times a day, you go through construction. As far as construction that really impacts your route or causes you to detour, it's here and there. It's not too bad. This is a good one. Do you recommend doing the paid training or just go out and pay for CDL school? Now, the one elitist trucking forum I was talking about earlier, they are all big gung-ho on the company training you, which there's nothing wrong with that, okay? If you don't have the money to pay for your own school and you want to go to company training, what other career is going to have a company that's going to pay your way through the whole thing? But on the other hand, I don't think it's bad to pay for your own school either. Some guys will sit here and they will say, well, don't go to company school because then they own you for a year and they're going to use and abuse you and treat you however they want, etc., etc. I mean, they're going to put you to work. You know what I mean? Go to work. Don't cry about it. You just got free training. You got free school. You got put in a truck, handed the keys to a $250,000 vehicle, and they're going to put you to work and give you a load and tell you when you got to be there, just like I'm doing right now, right? So what if they got you under contract for a year? That's the deal for them paying your whole way through everything. You know what I mean? They're going to pay your way through everything and not put you in a contract. Then you just leave and they just lost all that money? No, it's not that big of a deal. But at the same time, like I said, I don't think it's bad to go to a a private school either. Because see, I was seeing on this trucking forum, they were all giving these rookies that wanted to go to a private school hell, talking about, yeah, well, let us know when you fail. Sounds like you got your mind made up anyways, and you don't need us to tell you what you should do, etc. Just being a bunch of assholes, right? And I was reading this stuff, and, you know, because he wanted to go to private school. And it was acting like he was going to fail because he wanted to go to private school. That the companies, you know, that he went to, you know, won't have nothing invested in them. And to an extent, maybe it's true. But honestly, I went to freaking private school. I paid my own way. I've been fine. I came to CFI. I did sign a contract with them to reimburse me my tuition money. But the reason I went to private school is because I liked the idea of the school being close to my home. I went to go home every night, slept in my own bed, had the weekends off, you know, because it was like a 3-week thing. So I had, you know, I got to go home and break it up a little bit. I didn't go straight to a company school and do that whole schooling and then go in training with a trainer, a mentor. It kind of broke it up a little bit. I liked kind of paying for my own and doing it that way. And have I been fine? Yeah, I've been fine. I don't think it really matters. However, a lot of people will try to scare you away from the company-sponsored training. Don't let that scare you away, man. They're going to put you to work. You know, go get your damn CDL. Have them pay for it if you don't have the money to pay for it yourself. It's fine. Both ways are fine, in my opinion. I think. There's a lot of opinions on this, and, you know, everybody's going to tell you one way or another, tell you a horror story about whichever one they don't agree with. But in the end, man, it's going to get your CDL. It's going to put you in a truck, and, you know, at the end of the day, you're going to become a truck driver. It's up to you if you succeed or not. But yeah, that's just how I feel about it. Were you ever late with a delivery? No, I have not been late with the delivery. I guess technically that Tractor Supply I went and delivered to that one time, you know, CFI puts us there 30 minutes early, and I got there 15 minutes after that time, but I was still technically on time with Tractor Supply, so I wasn't really late. I was late by 15 minutes of CFI's dispatch time, but I was still before Tractor Supply's appointment time, if that makes any sense. So I didn't get in any trouble. I called them and let them know well in advance that, hey, I'm going to be about 15 minutes late. And, you know, they said, okay, keep us updated and stuff. So, have you ever passed through a weigh station that you had to go through? Yeah, all the time. You get the red beep on the Prepass there, and they're telling you to pull in, or they'll have the lighted signs that will say either truck bypass the station or truck pull in. And yeah, every now and then we got to go in. Supposedly CFI has a pretty good safety score. CSA score is what it's called, and that kind of determines on whether they call you in or not. Also by your weight when you roll over the pre-scale. If you're really heavy, you're going to get called in more because, you know, you're close to the legal limit. Therefore, they see that before they call you in the scale, and they call you in. If you're empty, most of the time you're not going to get called in, because when you roll over the pre-scale that's on the road, it tells them that, okay, you know, he's well under the limit, we're not really worried about him, let him go. That's why we have this Prepass, not to waste a guy's times or the weigh station's time and fill up their freaking on-ramp with guys who are empty, you know what I mean, who aren't even near the being overweight. I've noticed you don't have chains. Even when there is literally snow caked on the road, you have no chains. Can you just not afford them yet? I'm somewhat concerned for you. People love to assume stuff, man. Let's just go ahead and nip it in the bud. Oh, get my damn shoes on here. I was all comfortable, and then we get some asshole that thinks I can't afford freaking chains. Yeah, we did have to pay for them. CFI takes it out of our checks to pay for the basic necessities that we have, such as the broom, the chains, and everything else. Now, I will say, they're not here. And I probably should put them there so that I don't get bothered by DOT that thinks I don't have chains, but there they are, buddies. That's all Dave's chains right there. So that's where they were when I got the truck, and that's where they are now. Just where I got them, man. So like I said, people like to assume stuff, but yes, it would be smart for me to keep them there. I probably should do that here one of these days, but yes, I do have chains. So, and generally you don't see guys just driving down the road because they're snow caked on the road with their chains on. Generally it's to get through mountain passes and hills that are iced over, so then you don't get stuck on the hill. And you know, because you're not just gonna go just because there's snow on the ground, you're not gonna throw chains on and drive 100 miles down the road with chains on. It doesn't really work that way. So you know, generally you will have like a sign or a flashing light that says chain up area here, and they have a spot for you to chain up because you're about to go through a mountain pass or a big hill or whatever the case may be, and they want you to, you know, go through there with chains on so you don't get stuck and clog up the road. But you know, as far as I know, that's what I've seen since I've been out here this winter. So you don't really see guys just chugging down hundreds of miles with chains on. You're not really supposed to do that anyway. And CFI is a big proponent of, you're the captain of your ship. If you want to pull over because the weather's too bad, or if it's chain laws are up and you want to stop, then go ahead. And most guys do. You'll see a lot of guys say that, you know, if chain laws are up, I'm just gonna park it. Like, I'm not gonna risk it. You know what I mean? Because you can't go fast enough to really make it worth it anyways. So yeah, the one time it was really bad for me, luckily I wasn't on any big hills or mountain areas, but I pulled it off to the truck stop. But yeah, can you just not afford them yet? Like, why would you even say can you just not afford them yet? Like, what is that even about? Any reason you use the Garmin? I found that Google Maps is way more accurate and up to date. Oh, of course it is. Yeah, Google Maps is literally the best, but not for a truck driver. Google Maps is not taking into consideration truck routes or, you know, your vehicle weight or your size or anything like that. And you can, you know, put it into your Garmin. Here we go, settings, vehicle profile. You could set it by how heavy you are, how wide you are, how tall you are, etc. And it's going to do its best. I say do its best because it's not perfect, but it's going to do its best to keep you from going under bridges that are underneath your height. And it's going to do its best to keep you off of non-truck routes. And for the most part, it does. It's not bad. But I used the Garmin because my trainer used the Garmin. He used the same exact one. Literally bought the same exact one my trainer had because that's what he trained me to use. That's what I was comfortable with from learning those 20 days with my trainer. And that's what I bought. So that's why I use it. And, you know, it works pretty well. When they call me, I'm going to end this video because this is a lot, man. This video is going to be ultra long. So I will keep answering questions until this place calls me. Why do you try to avoid blindsiding? Wouldn't you think the more practice, the better? True. Somebody actually replied to this one. I read it already. He said, Dear Alexis, because Alexis is the one that asked the question. Dear Alexis, because blindsiding is a total pain in the ass unless you have a big empty parking lot to do yourself. The more you do it, the better you get at knowing how to do it, but it's still a pain in the ass. I'm assuming by asking that question, you've never driven a truck and trailer before, so imagine blindside backing your car into your garage or a parking spot, and all your windows are covered except the windshield and driver window, and then put a 15-foot trailer behind you. You can only see out the driver window. Which would you choose? So I see both y'all's points. Obviously here, Alexis, you know, thank you for the question. It's a good question, and you're right. If I did it more, I would get better at it. But, you know, most guys don't want to risk it. You don't see guys out here blindsiding when they don't have to. Every now and then I might see it, and it might be with a day cab that has the back window. Those guys will blindside it all the time when they don't have to because, you know, they can see a whole trailer out their back window. Most guys with a sleeper, you see everybody do a U-turn if they're not already facing the proper direction to do a side back, or, you know, you spin up and straight back it. You pretty much do whatever the easiest, quickest, and most efficient way is. Especially if there's a lot going on. There's yard dogs buzzing around, there's other trucks backing and things going on. I'm not gonna blindside it when I don't have to because everybody's gonna be sitting there like, really, this guy's gonna sit here and why didn't he just do a U-turn? Like, he's in the way. Somebody's gonna be waiting on you. Like, really, CFI? Like, you could have just freaking sight-sided it, and now I gotta sit here and wait for you. You know, I have blindside practiced before when I'm at places where there's nothing going on. A Tractor Supply or that at-home store, I blindsided that. Things like that, when it's just me behind a building and nobody else I'm holding up with my blindside, I will do it. Just to kind of practice and for video content. But no, when I get somewhere like here and that yard dog's buzzing back and forth, I'm not just going to blindside it, you know? And you could say, oh, well, you know, you're backing, they can wait. But there's no reason to hold people up extra because I decided to try to back the hard way. It's just, that's my opinion on it. Other people may have different opinions, but that's kind of the reason why I don't do it. And it's also more risky. I'm putting myself more at risk of hitting something by not sighting it. And that's something that I don't want to do. So if I'm forced to blindside, then I'm going to do my best. I'm going to be as careful. I'm going to get out and look. Maybe ask somebody to spot me if I got a blindside in between two trucks or something. 100%, if I ever had to, I've never had to do that yet, but if I had to blindside beside two trucks, and let's say there's a middle spot, two trucks, and it was a forced blindside, I would for sure knock on one of those guys' doors and say, can you please spot me because I don't want to hit your truck? And I bet your ass they'll get out and spot me. They don't want me to hit their truck either. So I would 100% ask for some, you know, assistance, and I would not feel any loss of pride because of that. Not at all. You know, some guys, well, I don't need nobody to spot me, but that would be something. That would be pretty hard. So yeah, that's just my opinion. What was your biggest obstacle to overcome to get to where you are today? Do you mean for YouTube or for trucking? Let's just assume trucking, since that's what most of the questions are about. To get where I am today with trucking, let's just say, you know, I've been doing it like, I don't know, I think I'm at 10 months now. 2 months shy of a year. Biggest obstacle was the first month. First few weeks, first week, second week, third week, fourth week, fifth week. That was the biggest obstacle, man. When you first get your own truck, it's terrifying, you know? It really is. And the funny thing is I didn't think I would be terrified. I thought to myself, like, yeah, I've been doing this with my trainer every day. I'm good. I get my own truck. It's the same thing. No. When that trainer's not sitting with you in that seat, it is a completely different feeling, and it takes some getting used to and just getting the hang of, man. That was the biggest obstacle to being able to, you know, get as far as I've gotten now, is that first like month, man. It is stressful. It is, it's scary. It's all the above, man. It's the worst, definitely. This is one that I see a lot too in the comments and stuff. This guy says, why do you drive an auto? Face palm and crying laughing faces. Like, ah, ha, 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 you drive an auto. Ha, 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 look at you. Most of the big companies have all gone to auto, man. They're almost all automatics, unless you're driving for not one of the mega carriers. You don't really have much of a choice anymore. And, you know, I've said many times in my videos, I would much rather drive a manual. And a lot of people ask me, they're like, can you drive a manual? Yes, my everyday car is a manual. I rode motorcycles. I train in a manual truck. Trust me when I tell you, I can drive a manual, probably better than you, but you know, considering I decided to go with CFI, a mega company, and not, you know, some local something that I had an in on or whatever. Yeah, I'm driving an automatic, which is not really that big of a deal. The backing is really the only thing that's really finicky about the automatic. As far as everything else, it is what it is. It's nicer in traffic. You don't got to do all the shifting in traffic, so it's nice. You just kind of work the brake and the accelerator like you would a automatic car. You know what I mean? But still does the same job, you know. Yeah, you're not shifting, and yeah, you got a little bit less control, that's for sure, because you definitely have more control with a manual. And I would, there they are, guys. Well, I think that's going to be the last question. All right, they said I can go in and get my paperwork. So with that, that will be the last question, guys. I know there was a lot I couldn't get to, I really do. But my jaw hurts from talking so much. Literally, I've been talking so much, it hurts. And this video is going to be super long. I tell you guys what I'm going to do. So I'm going to have to end it here. I got to go get my load. And yeah, I'm going to have fun editing this one, that's for sure. Happy 600th video, Dave. If I didn't answer your question, I'm sorry. Ask it in the comments of this video. And I will literally do my best to try to answer your questions that I didn't get in the comments of the video, in case you didn't get it in there. So, anyways, guys, until next time, in the 601st video, peace.
Let's take a spin to a foreign place. These open highways are calling our name, and now it's time for us to escape. Escape to a world world we don't know. Escape into the great unknown. Escape to a world we don't know. Escape into the great unknown.